Yeah. Daily go get daily
Your
go
show
get
now. Press 1 to hear important
daily go get
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show,
Do we
are
control what our
reconnecting you now.
children wear? Do we control what our children wear? Are they doing something, saying what we want to hear? Have we made it clear that you won't be looking like a thug or looking like a little slut? What? Yo, you can't be out here looking loose and jeans showing too much caboose. But if you got a big butt, how you going to keep it to yourself? But we trying to protect their health. The youth of today is kind of out of control, or so it seems. But are we to blame? Are we to blame? Do we control what our children wear? Do we control it well enough? You know, when we were growing up, you know what I mean? It's funny. When I talk about this now, I kind of feel like an old fogey or whatever. But I remember our parents, my friends' parents, all of us, we experienced, especially when it came to the girls. Where you think you're going looking like that, you ain't going out of this house. No. Many a chick has had to come back in the house. They got stopped at the door. Had to come back in and change them clothes. Now, the question is, well, where did you get the clothes from in the first place? And you know how resourceful young teenage girls can be. So the clothes that they may have may not always come from what their parents bought them. They borrow from older cousins, sisters, friends. You know, they get it. We as parents have to do what we have to do in order to make sure that our children are going out of the house looking presentable. And are we doing that well enough nowadays? Some may say, we're doing okay, we're maintaining. I don't know if it explains why we have teens with their pants hanging down and we kind of looking like clowns with all that makeup all on their faces. Back in the day, you wasn't going no place with your face looking like that. No, you wasn't. But we going to talk about this and do the dozens. Word. Do we control what what our children wear well enough? Do we control what our children wear? By the looks of things, you would think that many of our parents have left it to the children to decide what they want to look like and what they want to wear and how they will present themselves. And that might be okay for some parents. If you have a responsible child that has good taste, has some class, and pretty much likes to make sure that their appearance is respectable, representing the family. Remember that the way that you used to look, the way that you used to talk, the way that you used to act, the way that you used to conduct yourself was all a representative of whatever your last name was. Because you was the Johnsons, you were the Jacksons, you were the Taylors, you were the Corbins, you were the Williams, you were the Browns, you were the Joneses. And we kind of, wore that with a little bit of respect. Even in the big cities. I remember as a teenager, and I consider myself to have grown up in the flyest era that I've known. The 80s, baby. It got no flyer than that. We turned it up. With the gold chains and the blue jeans and the acid wash and the two tones and the bomber jackets and the leather trenches and the goose downs, the bubbles, the this, the that. Almost everything you see nowadays came from the trends of the 80s. You could say that the 70s had an influence too. Maybe. But the 80s influence is definitely strong. But not everybody looked the same in the 80s. Not everybody looked the same. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have national trends that could not be where there couldn't be an exception almost anywhere that you went. Sort of the way it looks now. So what about now? Since we are the parents of today, what are our allowances as far as our children's appearance is concerned? What are we allowing these days? And I'm not gonna spend all this show talking about my hate for long eyelashes and what should I say, fake eyelashes and skinny jeans and all that kind of stuff, because there are other things that might not show, but that might affect the whole scene and the whole question that we're asking. For example, in the beginning of this century, in the early 2000s, what was one of the biggest things, one of the biggest fads that was out? Thongs. Remember thongs? There was a whole song about thongs. Them thongs, the thongs. A hit record. I mean, a big mega hit record. Hit song. Now, usually, when your children are a certain age, they don't have any income. They don't have jobs or anything like that. They don't have their own money. So whatever underwear. Now we're talking about underwear. The underwear that your children wear, you ought to know what they are. So, would you buy your, I don't know, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old a pair of thongs? This might not even seem like a worthy question in 2023, but in 2003 it was, in 2002 it was, in 2001 it was a big question. It was a big deal. This was a topic of discussion in the year 2000. It definitely was. Now, thongs aren't as popular as they were back then, but back then you have these young girls running around here singing those songs. Them thongs, the thongs, and they knew that thongs were a good way to not show your panty lines. Do you want your panty lines, a young girl's panty lines, should that even be an issue for a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old? Should panty lines even be an issue? Unless you are an athlete who has to wear, really tight fitting things. I don't, like if you're a cheerleader and other sports too, like lacrosse, soccer, all the girls' sports. It seems like they wear those, those tight fitting shorts and things like that. When we was growing up, it wasn't like that. It really wasn't. It's kind of crazy. The boys' shorts in the 60s and 70s were more liable to be more form-fitting looking than the girls. Shoot, I remember in gym, we used to the girls used to have to wear those gym suits. They were blue. I don't remember what you called them, but they were blue and they snapped on in the bottom of the crotch. But they should, unless you had a really outstanding big butt, you wasn't showing a lot. Even though your legs were out, but you weren't. They made sure that they made those uniforms so you didn't look sexy, unless you were a straight pedophile or sex offender or whatever. But you didn't look sexy in those suits. They had the girl's name on it and all of that, but you had to use your imagination. The boys wasn't running around here salivating like, yo, I can't wait to go to get gym. I can't wait to go to gym so I can see the girls in them jumpsuits. The legs was all the way out. Whatever sneakers they were wearing and all that kind of stuff, the legs were all the way out, but they designed them so it didn't look like something. They didn't look like a piece of meat. we weren't feeding some kind of We weren't tempting teachers out there, you know. But when we think about thongs, it was a real thing. I'm sure there were plenty of parents out there that had to tell their daughters, no, you don't need that. I don't even wear that mess. You don't need a pair of panties with a string between your ass. You need to cover your ass. And we're gonna get you something that's gonna cover your ass well. Nowadays, I don't know. You know, one of the reasons for the thongs was because of the low-rise jeans. But then the thong was showing in the damn low-rise jeans. Y'all remember? You remember, we don't see that as much anymore. But when we talk about, do we control what our children wear well enough? We have a lot to talk about today. We do. Because we even need to go into this whole tattoo thing. How do your children get a tattoo that you didn't approve? And I'm gonna keep it a buck for you. I don't know why you would allow your child to get a tattoo before age 18. Honestly, I think a tattoo is one of those things that you should be an adult before you get one. I think so. Because think about the things that you might want to put on your body, that you might want to tattoo on yourself before you're an adult. Think about it. Think about some of the outlandish, crazy, ridiculous things that you've seen in the form of a tattoo on full-fledged adults. Now imagine that for a child. I don't see how your child can get a tattoo and you didn't have nothing to do with it. Because number one, tattoos are expensive. So we got thongs, we got tattoos. We got thongs, we have tattoos. We're just getting started. We're just getting started tonight. Why would your teenage girl need sexy underwear? God forbid she's on a pill. You might as well be her pimp, Mom. And I'm not saying that just because you take precautions to make sure that if your teenage daughter is sexually active, that she doesn't get pregnant. I don't have anything against that. I think it's actually a good thing because you're being realistic. A lot of people would say that you are approving her to have sex. And you may actually be. But at least you're doing it in a responsible way because you recognize that teenagers are going to do it anyway. You might have been doing it when you was a teenager and you might have slipped up and got pregnant. But anyway, or slipped up and got somebody pregnant if you are a man. So, you know, I don't have anything against responsible parenting, forward thinking parenting. But the things that our teenagers wear, the way that our children present themselves has a lot to do with what we accept or reject. What are we accepting? Because if you look at today's kids, I don't know what we're rejecting. These kids out here got a bunch of tattoos. They running around with their pants hanging off their ass. The young girls, I mean, I don't even know. I would say that they're dressing too mature, but I don't even see grown women looking like that unless they are over the top trying to get attention. Other than that, our youth have a look of their own. Like when you see, you know, I mean, we got to take it all the way to the weave and all of that kind of stuff. Now, as black men and women, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump all around here, but y'all know how this goes. We start talking about this stuff, and next thing you know, it's 7 o'clock, and I mean it's 8 o'clock, and we gotta get on the body here. So I gotta make sure I at least tag the bases. I gotta round the bases before we get home. as black men and women, y'all know that we've had a lot of issues related to our appearance, related to our skin complexion, or should I say our skin tone, you know, light, dark, all of that kind of stuff, good hair, bad hair, and all that kind of stuff. So we've had to do a lot of work to make sure that we preserve the self-esteem of our people, but especially for our children. If we fail in doing that for our kids at their young age, there's no telling how horrible their life can be going forward. So when I start talking about weaves and wigs and all that kind of stuff, if we allow our teenagers to put a bunch of weave in their hair and wigs and all that kind of stuff, and use a lot of makeup and put on fake eyelashes and all that kind of stuff, what are we really saying to them? Are we just letting them exercise their freedom of expression, or are we saying to them that it's okay for them not to be whoever they really are naturally? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves. Other races, other ethnic backgrounds may not have to deal with that as much as we do, but we have to. That's something that we can't escape. We can't look the other way. We can't afford to. So if we tell our kids, especially our young daughters, that it's okay for you to get your first weave, I don't know, at age 11, 12, 13, or whatever. So it's okay for you to not even develop your own hair at a young age. What are we doing? What are we doing? When I was growing up, the parents took control over the way that their children look. You know how a couple of years ago, few years ago, whatever, there was the whole big thing about bonnets. You know, running around here with bonnets. You know, these women running around here with the bonnets. They out in public with the bonnets. Well, for a lot of us, that wasn't happening back in the day. You ain't go out of here without you didn't go out of here with your hair looking all crazy. You didn't go out here with no rag on your head. Wasn't gonna happen. Wasn't gonna happen. You couldn't make it out the crib with no rag on your head or your hair looking all crazy. And because we didn't wear weave like that back in the day, you know, you it's almost hard to remember that we didn't. It's hard to remember a time when weaves weren't the norm, but they weren't. Extensions were not the norm. That's why they were called extensions. Everybody knew when you were wearing extensions. Everybody knew it. Now you're more surprised when a woman's hair is real. Because you like, especially if it's long, you like, Okay. So, you know, what we have accepted or rejected for our kids has a lot to do with what we see on the streets today. There's no way as parents we can absolve ourselves of any responsibility. So how are we going to run around here in these streets talking about what we don't like and how they look and how crazy this is and all of that when we ourselves have co-signed that? How we doing that? How we doing it? TK right says your name was hiding behind the pin number. The pin number, Carol. Oh, okay. 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 My brother from another mother, Norris Hill, Stacy White, T. Carey Wright. Thanks for coming on through. All y'all. Carol Chamberlain says, that's true, Omar. And I hated girls' gym suits. I honestly, Carol, I would kill for these young girls to be back in them suits. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, I'm sure we've had sexual predators in every era, but now it's almost unstoppable because you know a lot of these old heads can hide behind the fact that they didn't know how old these girls were because they don't always look young to some people. Now I don't know, they all look young to me. Even the ones that we say these young cats, these young girls, these young boys look way older than we did, but we can still tell that they're young because their whole aura, their whole style, their whole being is young. They don't know. Face tattoos, yeah, that's right. Piercings on their faces, absolutely nothing. Now piercings and stuff like that aren't new, but the ones who used to do that stuff were like, they were outliers. Remember the punk rock era? All them spikes and chains and all that kind of stuff. And I don't mean chains. I mean chains like, you know, link chains that you would, you know, put on a dog, whatever. You know, white kids were doing some different shit. They wanted to look like they're rock stars. But our rap stars look like regular cats from around the way. So they look like us. We didn't necessarily look like them. You know, but whether you're talking about black, white, Hispanic, whatever the case may be, our parents had standards. You couldn't look the way that your parents didn't allow you to look. So it kind of told you a story of what the parental guidance was in the house, in the home. You knew what was going on just by the way the child looked. You could kind of see that there must not be a parent in the house running shit. Because it was just too out of hand. Back in the day, if you got a tattoo, because it's tattoos, there was a time when tattoos were not popular. You was different if you had a tattoo. Like, yeah, you got a tattoo? Let me see it. I remember my brother got a tattoo at like age 15 or 16, and he only got a little tattoo. And he had to hide that. He couldn't let his mom see that he got no little tattoo. Yeah, I don't even remember what he had written. Like nowadays, he got his whole arm, he got all these tats and all this kind of. Wasn't like that. He had to wait till he got grown and went into the military in order to do all of that. That wasn't going to play at the crib. Like, I mean, once you get a tattoo, you can't get it removed. They can't be like, yo, go take that tattoo off. I don't care how much you pay for it. Once it's done, it's done. But you knew better than to try to get that. You know, you knew that there was going to be a problem in your crib if you came home with a big visible tattoo. So a lot of kids got tattoos and hid them. They put them in places that they wouldn't be seen as well. Like it's wintertime, so I'll get the tattoo like right here. She won't see my shoulder until summer. Carol says, absolutely nothing is off limits today. I just think that it has a lot to do with what we're allowing. You know, I remember when the issue of that whole thong shit was going on. So, you know how mothers take their girls, their daughters' underwear shopping. You know, make sure they have sufficient panties and bras and all that kind of stuff. It's important. So you mean to tell me we gonna get them thongs over there? Like, what are you saying to your child? Now, thongs don't make you start having sex, but they definitely draw that attention. And in a child's mind, that's all you want. But in a child's mind, something clicks when they wear sexy clothes, when they wear adult material, when they are doing things that they know are out of their age range. Something clicks. And what clicks is, yes, I can do it too. I can do it too. Yeah, I can do it too. Yeah, what you do? I saw my aunt and my uncle and my people, my older ones, and I'm going to tell you this. I can do what they do too. I can fuck, touch, kiss, if I want to, because I'm wearing these thongs. I'm not trying to say that. Wait a minute, let's get along. I'm not trying to say that the thong will make you start having sex. But you know how children think. You give them the green light for one thing, and then the green light goes for everything. You got to come back and tell them all the time. I said you could do this. That didn't mean you could do all of this other stuff. And they what they gonna say to you? Oh, yeah. Oh my ass. Oh my ass. Carol Chamberlain says, I wasn't allowed to go out with hair rollers and a scarf. Wasn't going to happen. Carol, you might not have been able to answer the door, or if y'all had company come over, you probably wasn't allowed to have your hair in a scarf with rollers on if somebody came over for company. Like, First, I don't care if it's Saturday, Sunday, whatever. First of all, go change out of that nightgown, put some clothes on, and take that shit out of your hair. Our parents wasn't having it. They was not having it. Today's parents are having it. So all of this skinny jeans shit, I don't know. I don't know how far I can go with the skinny jeans thing. I don't like them. Never liked them. But I can't say that skinny jeans mean anything, especially when you got the old heads out here with these skinny jeans, skinny skirts, skinny suits, skinny. What can I say? What can I say? But I remember girls trying to make it out of the house with makeup on. It wasn't going to happen. Now I know you know how smart teenage girls are. So they went out of the house looking very presentable. Then they went over their friend's house or something before school, or when they got to school, they was in the bathroom applying their fucking makeup. You know how they do. But I bet you that makeup had to come off by the time they went home. So you was made up between the hours of 8 and 3, 8:30 and 3, however many, whatever your school roster commanded. You might have been made up from those hours, but by the time you got back to the crib, you was transformed back into Stephanie. You was Stephanie by the time you got back in. You know what I mean? So, and I don't want to sound like I'm hating, but it's the truth. Do we control what our children wear well enough? Do we have a high enough stake in how they look, how they present themselves to the world? What are we saying about that? What is our say-so? Emily Dunlap in the house said, Emily. Carol says, only in the military were tattoos common. Those are facts. Those are facts. I be seeing these teenagers with all these tattoos. I'm like, first of all, tattoos ain't cheap. They not cheap. Any of y'all who have tattoos, like, look, that ain't something you just like, yo, let me go get a tattoo today. I was on my way. I was on my way to get I was on my way to going to the market, and I had to go wash clothes, and I went and got this tattoo real quick. It ain't like they do tattoos at Walmart, Target, Home Depot. Like, yeah, man, you know, they was taking too long to get me the sheetrock at Home Depot, so I went and got this tattoo while I was in there. Like this joint? Got a joint right on my neck. Wait till the guys at work see this. You know what I mean? What? Tattoos aren't fast, and they are expensive. It's a life decision. Them shits is on you for your life. It's expensive as hell to get a tattoo removed. It's not even all that safe. Carol said, bingo. I sure couldn't. Yeah, it was. You couldn't just look any kind of way. You had to look good. Carol says, maybe because I was a girl, I had to be dressed when I came downstairs. No PJs or nightgowns at the breakfast table. Sounds right. It sounds right. But that attitude that went on in the home carried itself out to the crib. I mean, outside of the crib. It went out in the world with you. Like, no, I'm not supposed to look that way. I'm not supposed to do that. It just doesn't seem like that type of energy exists with today's youth. It looks like they've dressed themselves, bought their own clothes, and are looking the way they're looking. Whenever I see a young boy with his pants hanging off his ass, showing his drawers or whatever, I'm like, either your mama didn't see you or your mama don't care. Because I haven't heard a fully grown adult woman who thinks it's okay for a young man to be running around with his pants hanging off his ass, showing his drawers. You know what I mean? The drawers under the ass crease. Whatever ass he got, the pants are under there. I'm like, what are you doing? What up, Mia? How you doing? But yeah. So do we control what our children wear well enough? It seems like some of these parents are living vicariously through their children. I mean, listen, all kinds of crazy stuff do we see on a regular basis. And especially online. Online, I don't know what's up with some of these with some of these women. Because they proud of all the wrong things, if you ask me. Oh yeah, this is my baby and blah blah blah. And I'm looking like, that's what we doing? That's your baby? Titties all hanging out, ass all hanging out, and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't give a shit if she was 21, 22. Like, what? Okay. Well, I guess the fact that she's grown is your saving grace. But something tells me by your pride that's not that y'all have probably been following this pattern for a good little while. I mean, it's bad enough that we have a bunch of middle-aged women competing with these young girls, openly competing. It's open season. 45, where? Right there, ma. Right there. 55, where? There. It's there. It's there. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being proud of how you look at any age. But you can tell who's fishing for attention and who's not. It's not hard to tell. It's not hard to tell at all. But if you over sexualizing your daughters now as young adults, I'm talking, 18, 19, 20, 21, any age between, before 25 and even, older than that, whatever. If you're over sexualizing or glamorizing the over sexualization of your daughters, you probably didn't start that when they became adults. It's not like it was like, all right, you're 18. Now go ahead and look however you want to look. I'm with it. Mm-mm. 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 I think that's really dangerous online because there's just so many predators online. Remember how, in the earlier online days, how dangerous or how you had to beware of Craigslist. The whole internet is Craigslist now. Craigslist is the whole internet. Am I lying? Am I wrong? Am I off base? Am I tripping? The DMs have taken away the need for Craigslist. Craigslist is where you went to get jerked out of your money, or get raped, or get killed, or have your money stolen because you was trying to buy a car, that kind of stuff. Not that no good things ever happened with Craigslist. Matter of fact, Craigslist, I haven't looked up anything on Craigslist in I don't know how long. Well, let's take a look. Craigslist. Yeah, Craigslist. Craigslist.org. Huh. The same old generic type of thing. You type in, there's a search bar. You type in what you're looking for and see what happens. Oh, they have discussion forums, huh? Oh, okay. Oh. So you can still get what you're looking for on Craigslist. Okay. Last time y'all been on Craigslist? And this is Craigslist Philadelphia. Shoot, I've listed houses on Craigslist and got hits. They be trying to lowball the shit out of you. Oh, yo, man, I'll give you $1,000 for that 3-story house. I'm like, thanks for your inquiry. But please go to hell. Please go to hell. Go to hell. But do we control what our children wear well enough? Are we doing our job as parents to make sure that our children are well developed and are presenting themselves in a positive way out here in this world? Or are we just sitting back bitching and moaning and complaining about the way these young people look? What is our role in this whole thing? Stacey White says, no tattoo for a child. That's what I would say. But I've seen 13-year-olds with tattoos. I'm like, man, I don't listen. At 13, you shouldn't even have your name tattooed. You shouldn't even have your dog's name. Like, yo, I got Snoopy's name tattooed on my arm. You know what I mean? My dog Snoopy, he died. That was my first dog. He was my favorite dog. He was the best dog in the world. I got Snoopy, and Snoopy will be with me forever. Not at 13, he ain't gonna be with you forever. You don't know how you're gonna feel about Snoopy once you turn at least 18, 21, or something like that. Once you start making your own decisions. But if we pay it for the clothes that our children are wearing, how can we complain about them? How many parents are letting their children leave the house without seeing them before they leave? See, we couldn't do that. Our parents had to see us before we left the house. You know, just in case you got kidnapped or something happened to you. Well, what were they wearing today? Oh, we got the whole thing. I guess now, since you can FaceTime, you know, video chat and all that kind of stuff, I don't need to see you before you leave because I can see you later on. I don't know. We didn't leave the house before our parents saw what we looked like. No, it says 1,000 for a 3-story house. What the crackhead hell are you thinking? Yeah, they try it. They try it. They figure if you're on Craigslist trying to sell a house, you're desperate. There is a certain amount of truth about that too. But you might not be that desperate. You know, you're a crackhead, you shouldn't even be able to afford a computer. But, you know, some crackheads can. But anyway, like I said, before we left to go to school or left to go anywhere, our parents, a lot of our parents required us to, you know, let them give us the once over before we left the house. Let me see what you look like. What we look like when you're on the mind. So I don't see how these kids are running around here with tattoos, with wearing thongs or short skirts. Remember, if your skirts were too small, you know, in the 80s, there were a lot of mini skirts going on. Mini skirts. A lot of parents made their children real mad. Like, you ain't going out there with no mini skirt. Nope. That thing, first of all, is wintertime. Second of all, that skirt way above the knee. You ain't wearing no skirt or no dress where it's hard for you to sit down. Any dress where you have to cross your legs in order for you not to show your goodies, you ain't wearing. Go put on that nice jean skirt I bought for you. Oh, Mom, I'm saying, you know, like, I don't see why. Look, listen, girl, I don't even know where you got that shit, but you're not wearing it. Go put on that pleated skirt I bought for you. Pleated skirt, jean skirt, whatever skirt. You ain't wearing that mini skirt. Shoot, we gonna make it through this. We gonna make it through this teenage era without no pregnancy. No abortions in this teenage this teenage era. It's your little fast ass. Get that from your father. No, it says, where you think you going? Where you think you going like that? It was a common question. Where you think you going? Where do you think you going looking like that? What's that on your face? Go wash your face. Ma, I can't do nothing. I mean, I can't wait till I turn 18. As soon as I turn 18, I'm getting out of here. All right, yeah, well, when you turn 18, blah, 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 blah. Well, you're 16, 17, 15-year-old ass. Get your ass in that bathroom and wash that shit off your face before I come and wash it off for you. And you do not want me to wash it off for you. Matter of fact, go up in the bathroom and wait for me. I got a washcloth for your ass. Shout out to all the girls who had they makeup washed off of their face by their mom. That's what you don't want. That's what you don't want. Because you know every mom of a teenager is tough. I don't care if your mom is 4'11". I don't care if your mom is is 100 pounds soaking wet, they don't care. They're going to bully you. They're going to command their respect. You're not going out there looking in any way that they don't want you to look. So, yeah, I'm going to come up there and wash that shit off your face for you. And don't let it be your father. Oh, no. You done violated the home rules of a strict father. Blue-collar father. Got a lot on his mind. And he got to deal with his girlfriend. With his teenage daughter looking like she out there trying to get a boy. Oh yeah? Okay. I mean, you got woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning to have to do the dishes. What you think he gonna do about that makeup? Makeup, miniskirts, and all that kind of shit. Back in the day, if you grew up in a 2-parent family, more than likely your parents was on the same page. Them against you. More than likely. Mia says, never been on Craigslist. I was always scared of it. It's a real generic looking site. It is. It don't look like nothing. The horror is when you start clicking on stuff. The horror is in the responses that you get. That's where the horror is. Ah! Ah! Yeah. Yeah. Mia also says, never understood how children dress skimpy if the parents are buying the clothes. I mean, why does that mystery still exist to this day? Why don't any parents know where these children are getting these clothes from? Why? How? I don't even know how they afford these hairstyles. How do y'all afford all of that weave? It takes time to do it. We know how long it takes to do braids, but it takes time to do weave too. And it's expensive. Where are you getting the money? Where you getting the money? $125, $200 for a hairstyle. Where are you getting the money? Nar says, you better cover your stomach. Wait a minute. Who said you could pierce your belly button? Oh my God. Oh yeah, that was another big thing. Piercing your tongue. Remember the tongue ring in the early 2000s was a big thing. Advertising fellatio. Fellatio advertising. No, just because you have a tongue ring don't mean that you suck dick. Yeah, it does. That's exactly what it means. It either means that you showing everybody that you suck dick, or you are imitating somebody that sucks dick. And you haven't gotten the memo that that's exactly what that means. Remember girls playing, you see women playing with the ring. Big ass safety pin in your damn tongue. That's funny because you see somebody with a tongue ring now, you're like, really? 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 Oh, okay. Mia says, we weren't allowed to go out dressed like anything embarrassing our household. Exactly. She also says, I drove my mom crazy trying to wear a mini skirt. Shit, you lucky you made it out the crib. If you made it out the crib. Carol says, my daughter got a belly button piercing when she was 26 at the time. She safe? Time out. Carol says, hell, if I bite my tongue, it hurts like hell. I can't imagine that pain. Like I ain't understand it either. I didn't understand it either. But the whole advertising, the fact that you give blowjobs pretty much tells you where we were as far as an era is concerned. It lets you know where our value system had evolved to. We going low. And not that there's anything wrong with oral sex, but why do you know, that's between you and whoever you. Okay. So do we control what our children wear well enough? The answer might be no. The other question might be why? Because we have a lot of complaints. You know, our generation Xers and baby boomers complain a whole lot, but we have to have played a role in some of them. These millennials have given birth to some of these Generation Z. It can't be all of their fault. The 80s babies can't all be at fault. Can they? Can it be all the 80s babies' fault? All the 80s babies? All the 80 baby? All the 80 baby? All the 80 baby? Carol says, I didn't even read the way you messed up. She said, I really messed that up. I meant chicks. Okay. Wait. You know what? We just gonna skip it. You talking about? I don't know. I got nothing. All right. TK Wright says belly piercing doesn't hurt. Mine is pierced. The tongue is a different story. Plus, the mouth is so dirty. Why get a piercing there? Ugh. Mia says you gotta buy that. You gotta buy the hair first, then get it styled. Easily turns into 300 plus. Really? Ew. Oh, it's three. I'm living way back in the day. I'm talking about some 200. But you know what? Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the fact that you do have to go buy the hair. You do. You got to go to the hair store. The hair store. You got to go. The hair store. You got to go to the hair store. This generation does not know of a time when there was no such thing as a hair store. Yeah, you could buy wigs at a wig store, but there was a time when there was no such thing as a hair store. But you're right. Yeah, you got to go buy the hair. The hair is expensive. And I guess it doesn't turn over. You use the hair once and, you know, that's that. TK Wright says, my daughter resents how controlling I was with her clothes. Well, hopefully one day when she's older, she'll appreciate it. But yeah, I can understand how rebellious teenagers can be and how their lack of understanding wouldn't allow them to be able to see why you didn't want them to do certain things. They're young, you know, they're experimental. Of course, they want to try everything that's out there. Of course. Carol says, yup, Mia, easily $300. And you need the expensive human hair to make it look good. TK, right? Says, my youngest goddaughter, too. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, from what I see out here, it can only make it out here if it got approved in the house. Now, do we have that many parents that just aren't paying attention or just don't care? I'm sure that we have an overabundance, way more than we would like to see out here. But come on, somebody, some of these parents are saying that it's okay. You ain't gonna tell me that they're not, because I know a lot of those women are buying the hair. And a lot, I mean, shit, the mom wearing the hair too. So 300 for her, 300 for you. $600 worth of low self-esteem. And of course, they're gonna say to me, it don't have nothing to do with no low self-esteem. You know, y'all men out here, y'all men like it, and that's why blah blah. I'm like, you're right, and I'm right. How about that? We're both right. But I know I ain't paying for none of that shit. Carol says, I bet we do. I think we have some who don't subscribe to that. I know we do. Shoot. The reason that we're able to talk about it here is because a lot of us don't subscribe to that shit. But evidently, the ones who do subscribe to it are winning, or they are overshadowing us. They're making us look like we just a bunch of, outliers, or we just a bunch of outcasts, or we just a bunch of old fogies. We just a bunch of played out, complaining old heads.
90 seconds.
Who need to learn how to get with the program. I don't know. I ain't feeling it. Let's get to these birthday shout outs. Let's get to these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious February 1st. February. Now it's time for the real Aquarians. The real ones. Shout out to all the January Aquarians, but y'all know February Aquarians are the real ones. Y'all only got 18 days. But anyway, who deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. Look at the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. Look at the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. Look at the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box. My girl, let me go through all her names. Hold on. She got a few accounts. So that would be Naomi Savage and Naima. Happy birthday to you, my go-getter, doing a damn thing. Happy birthday to you. And also Teresa Gardner turning 61 years old today. And Carol Peoples, Janet Wormley turning 45 years old today. And Tamika Vessels turning 28 years old today. And Barbara Quarles turning 57 years old today, and Chantel Morgan turning 31 years old today, and Christina Dorsey turning 46 years old today, and Catherine Mendoza turning 55 years old today, and Yemi, hold on. Come on, get that out of the way. Get out of the way. Yemi Olagundoye turning, should I say Olagundoye, turning 43 years old today, and Deborah Sawyer turning 57 years old today, and Linda Woods, happy birthday to you, and my man Lawrence Sakel, get her, he comes through, you know what I mean. Happy birthday to you, my brother. It says he's turning 34 years old today. Do the damn thing, my man. And last but not least, My people's going all the way back to the 1991. My girl Roxana Snape. Happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anybody who shares this birthday on this glorious February 1st. I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen. We have a certain responsibility as a parent. Until our children are adults, our children normally look the way that we authorize them to look. That's not to say that you're taking away any of their freedom. But we're talking about children. We're not talking about adults. We're talking about children. We ain't talking about nobody 20 years old, 21 years old, 23. We ain't talking about none of that. We're talking about 18 and under. And so when you start talking about the delicate sensitivities and the lack of understanding that teenagers under 18 have, because their mind isn't fully developed yet. The way that they process information is just not there. Why do you think so many teenagers commit suicide? Why do you think so many teenagers are prone to serious, deep depression? They're still looking for themselves. And if you present a self to them that is a false self that they feel like they have to look up to, that they could never attain, then you're putting them in a position where they're going to fail miserably time after time. But you can't parent effectively if you're still battling with those same types of insecurities yourself. You can't do it. And that's what I meant when I say that so many parents are living vicariously through their children. It's true. You're relenting over about what happened in your youth. So you're watching them in their youth, trying to make sure that they don't go through the same things that you went through, but not acknowledging that the way to keep them from going through the same things that you went through is not to steer them away from the things that hit you, because those same things aren't going to hit them. But you have to be the bigger person. Somebody has to be the leader, and the leader has to be you. It can't be them. They're just not ready to make their own way. So whether we're talking about the way that they dress, the way that they wear their hair, the shoot. I didn't even go into the music we used to listen to, how there were some households where you couldn't listen to certain music. Like, nope. Some people didn't get a chance to get into hip hop until they went to college. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all and love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night with another Daily Go Getimism show. So make sure y'all come through 7 o'clock. All right. So make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. All right. So Blog Talk, we gonna get you out of here. Yeah.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. So you're on the other side, my boobas. Yeah, on the other side, my boobas. Yeah, on the other side, my boobas.